It is an absolute pleasure to welcome to the show Tim from Rise Against, a band who have been around for over 20 years with over 1 billion streams to your name. It's it's an absolute pleasure.
Wow.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Yeah, thanks, man.
I mean, how are you doing? Because this is the first time you've been out of the US now for a couple of years because of something that's happened.
Right.
But yeah, how has it been outside?
It's been an eventful couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
All that has happened. It feels good. It feels good because it feels like these like glimmers of hope. You know, to get on that plane and cross the ocean and get over here to the UK. It's like one more step closer to full touring coming back. You know,
Yeah.
it was good to just travel again. You know, travel is part of my routine. It's part of the things that I do that I've done for 20 years, and so to have that part of my routine absent for a long time, like that was unnerving at times.
Well, because I was thinking, like most bands, especially like you guys, are pretty much a staple on like the festival circuit. Mm-hmm. So how was it to have like a summer? Like summer at home where you're not recording an album because that was already done.
Right.
You can't tour because that was all off the cards. It's like, do you just sit there like twiddling your thumbs going, I don't know what to do?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just speaking for myself, it was pretty nice. I feel like we've been hitting it so hard for so long, and we always kind of talk about this fictitious fantasy year that we take off, and we've never done that before, you know? But we always talk about it, like, oh, next year we'll just take the year off and we'll just kind of recuperate and go to all do our own thing and then reconvene for another wave of record, tour, you know. But, you know, the machine always kept rolling and we just stayed on the treadmill. And so in some way this was like a forced sabbatical, you know. It made us take this break that we all talked about. So for me, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being like off the road for a while. And then eventually I got antsy though, and I wanted to like see people and play music, and I forgot how much of a part of it, you know, how much part of playing live, like I really not only enjoy, but like I need. It's like part of who I am. Yeah, especially because it's over half your life is just being on the road and being in Rise Against. Yeah. And also, you had just released, it seems so long ago now, Nowhere Generation. I know, right?
It does feel like a long time ago, but it is one of the best albums this year.
Oh wow, thank you. Like, appreciate that.
The title track, when I first heard it, blew me away. Like it's...
Oh great, that's awesome. Yeah, this was a fun record to put out. It was sad that we had to put it out in a world that we couldn't really quite tour, you know what I mean? Like, and we did get a tour in the States under our belts, you know, but normally we would have gone straight over here, you know, we've done Europe and Canada and Australia, but we did that tour in the States, and then it was like we went home and then did a few festivals at home, and then it was like, all right, what do we do now? Yeah. And so now we're just kind of patiently waiting for everything to open back up to kind of get the record everywhere. But yeah, you're talking about like a 5-month-old record now, you know, and so it's crazy. Normally we would have been here a lot sooner.
It's weird because I think for a lot of bands, a lot of artists, there's like they almost have like a lost album now, because it's almost like, I think it was like Enter Shikari released an album like 3 weeks before the UK lockdown, so that album's like 18 months old, and they're only touring it in a couple of months. Right. But like normally by now you think most bands are like, oh, the album came out 18 months ago. Oh, we're gonna get some new music from them soon. Like you kind of that. It's weird because like bands have like lost that sort of time with that album as such. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's, you know, records were coming and going. You know, because you weren't able to properly support them and remind people they were out there, and so all these different strategies were being talked about. It's like, is it better to hold on to your record right now, or is it better to release it in a world where everybody's at home sitting around so they can listen to it? Everybody had different pros and cons for, you know, that debate. And in the end, it was like, what you said, in the end, it's kind of like a lost year. And all we can like hope for is that when we get back on the road, people will remember the songs, the album, you know, and you can do a good job kind of promoting it. And there's one thing I was reading about Nowhere Generation, which I absolutely loved. And that was obviously a very political band, always have been, which is amazing. You were one of the first political bands I've ever heard. And kind of, I know for a few of my friends and that, you were like the first band that kind of made us think, ooh, actually there's more to things going on, stuff like that. And I know, I read an interview that you took a conscious effort with this album not to just write it about the political state in the US at the time, because everyone had kind of done everything there was to do with that situation, and you wanted to go deeper into the source as to why that was occurring. I think that was a really great decision to make, and it does sound fantastic through the album as well.
Thanks. Yeah, it was like, I felt like a lot of the right versus left and the partisan roles that had been talked about was being talked about. And so we were like, where do we add to the conversation? And like you said, it was like, let's go to some of the roots of the problems and not just the symptoms of the problems, and write songs that will probably have made sense 10 years ago and will hopefully make sense 10 years from now.
Yeah. There's one thing I've always been curious as like a political band. For the last 20 years, like at times it seems like we've made no progress at all. Then other times it seems like there's loads of progress going on. Like at the moment there's loads of, I'd say culturally and socially there's a lot of change and things like that. But how difficult has it been to be in a band where it just seems like at times you're just constantly fighting against the grain and there's no real positive change occurring?
Yeah, you definitely learn patience, you know what I mean? And you learn to celebrate the small victories. You know what I mean? Like when this band started, things like gay marriage was still illegal in the States.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's no longer the case. When this band started, I'd come to the UK, come to like Brighton here as a young vegetarian looking for like vegan food, and it was hard to find. And I've been walking around all day today, and everybody's got vegan food. That was like not something that existed. And so I see these things as like these. It'll never be like a giant Hail Mary touchdown pass. Sometimes it'll just be incrementally we get better, and when you zoom out, you see that, and you see, okay, like we want to be one of the people that are here for the long haul. Like we're going to slowly like dig in and keep working to work for change.
Yeah. That's good. And I love the fact that is the motivation. And there is, like I was saying, there is always little change. When you do look at that from a wider perspective, it definitely is there.
Yeah, we edge towards progress, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a few questions from fans, and I mean, one of the main ones at the moment is, have you got an idea of when you will be out fully again on the road? Because obviously we've got these few dates in the UK at the moment, which are acoustic sessions, which we're looking forward to tonight. And also you're doing download next year.
Yeah.
So is the hope that by then we're in a position where, are you kind of waiting to see if you're going to be in a position where you'll be able to do more around those sort of times, around those sort of dates in the UK and Europe and so forth?
Yeah, we're planning to come back right now, so it won't be before summer.
Yeah.
Summer will be the festival season, and we'll come over here for a lot of shows. We'll do download. But we are planning on coming back as soon as we can after that. So it will be next year, as long as nothing crazy happens. So we're planning for the best. We're planning for everything to be, sunny and beautiful, and everything looking good. And so as long as that happens, like, you can count on us. We're already making and plotting and scheming to get over here. Good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, this question, I wish I'd written it, but it's not from me.
Okay.
And that is Emil. She wanted to know, if touring hadn't been an option, if the pandemic was still going on now, and it getting to a point where maybe going to other countries wasn't a thing anymore, like you couldn't do that. Was there discussions in the band, how would you progress as a band if you could only stay in the States and it wasn't an option to get out around the world anymore?
Wow, I would say we never made it that far, but those were definitely concerns in the back of our heads. There were, at some of the darkest times of last year, we were wondering, will we ever tour again? Will what we do, or what we did, be looked at as something that happened in the past and no longer happens?
Yeah.
And at that moment I was very grateful that we had the opportunity to do it. And then moving ahead, I was thinking, like, will I ever play live music again? Will it always be over like a Zoom, or like on my phone, like that kind of thing? God, I never thought about, like, what if it really was like all just shut down for good. I don't know. That would be crazy.
It did get to a point where it was feeling like that.
But yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And there was only, I appreciate everyone who was doing the Zoom gigs and things like that.
Yeah.
But there's just something missing, isn't
absolutely,
there?
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I was reluctant to do them at all. Because I thought, no, let's just wait and do it like the way it was meant to be done. I did a few acoustic things, and then I saw that it meant something to people, and they appreciate it. So I was like, okay, I need to get over myself here and play it for other people. But as far as like a full band doing it, I knew that it would never capture what we do as a band.
Yeah.
I knew it was never going to replicate what we do live.
I know. I mean, one of my favourite live memories of a gig was, I can't remember the year, but it was a download festival. And it was the download where the second stage was on tarmac, So this was years ago, years ago.
Yeah.
But I just remember me and my friends were there, and we were having a couple of drinks, and this pit opened up around us during your set.
Oh, amazing.
And we were just stood there. There's always like little kids, it must have been like their first festival. There's like, it was like moshing around us. And it was one of those things that just sticks in your head, but it was during your set, and I was like, yeah, it always, just, I don't know why that memory always comes back. Every time I listen to Rise Against, I always just go back to that.
I love
and
that.
It's just a great little nostalgic trip for me.
Totally, that's cool. That's like the torch being passed right there.
Yeah.
In that moment, right?
It was. Right. I always like to play a little game.
Okay.
And it's not a game unless there's a prize.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's just me asking you questions.
Alright, fair enough.
So we do have a prize.
Oh.
And I normally do chocolate, so I have managed to get you some vegan chocolate. We got some white.
You know the way to my heart.
And some milk. So
amazing.
this could be yours.
Okay. All right.
But you do have to win it first.
All right. Yeah, it's not mine yet.
It never is.
Okay. Right.
I mean, it probably will be, even if you lose the game.
Spoiler alert.
I don't want to be that bad.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't give Tim from Rise Against his chocolate. And I took it away.
There you go.
I mean, I do look like a man who takes chocolate from people, but anyway. So this is called Stream Me, Say That You Stream Me.
Okay.
Essentially, it is Play Your Cards Right, which was a UK game show, but there was an American version called Card Sharks. Have you ever heard of that? Okay.
Yeah.
That was my research trying to find an American version of the English game.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's just higher or lower.
Okay.
And I'll go with your streaming stats, higher or lower, and we get to the end.
Oh,
Your
man.
starting figure is Nowhere Generation. I've rounded these up
Okay.
to the nearest million. So Nowhere Generation is at 12 million streams. Are we saying higher or lower for Make It Stop, September's Children?
Make It Stop. 12 million streams. Higher or lower?
Yeah, what are you saying?
It seems like a lot of streams. I gotta say lower.
Really?
I don't know. It seems like a lot of streams.
No, 54 million for Make It Stop.
Whoa, I'm way off.
Yeah. Think about it, it's been out longer.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, I guess so. I'm still old school. I'm still like listening to albums.
Yeah, same here, but you know.
Yeah.
Right, we'll move on to my favourite Rise Against song, Roadside. Are we saying higher or lower than 54 million?
Roadside's a deep cut,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna have to say lower.
Yes, 13 million.
Wow.
But it is one of your best songs. It's a
thank you,
fantastic track.
I appreciate that.
So we're going from Roadside onto Wolves. Are we saying higher or lower than 13 million?
13 million Wolves. Make It Stop had 54 million.
Yeah.
Did Wolves have? Maybe Wolves is at least higher than 13 million.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
We're at 14. We're doing well here.
Okay,
We're smashing
cool.
this.
All
Right. So we're going from 14 million.
Okay.
And we're going to Audience of One, but not Audience of One. We're going to the Ghost Note version.
Oh.
So we're saying higher or lower
Then what?
than 14 million.
That's tough.
We can ask the audience for help. Higher or lower?
I'm gonna go. I'm confident. How about higher?
No.
Oh.
No, sorry.
Oh, okay.
It's 9 million.
9 million. Okay.
But then I think this one may be an easy one.
Okay.
Hero of War.
Hero of War. Oh. Okay. Give me a number.
Higher or lower than 9 million?
I'm gonna go higher. Then.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I could do the maths, but it's 144 million, which is a lot more times than 9. So we're at 144 million. And moving on to my, actually one of my other top 3 Rise Against songs, Satellite. Are we saying higher or lower than Hero of War? And this is, I'm going to tell you this as a clue. It's very close.
Really?
Yes.
I would have to say higher. I've got to say higher.
Yes.
Okay.
By 2 million. There's only 2 million
Well,
in it.
I can't believe Hero of War competes with Satellite that thoroughly.
Yeah. 104. So we're at 146 million.
Wow.
And then we're moving on to Swing Life Away. Are we saying higher or lower than 146 million?
Swing. Man, Swing. I always think of Swing as like our big acoustic song, but some of the other songs like really, like when I actually check the numbers, it's like they really rival it, you know. So, Swing higher or lower than what's the number?
We're at 146 million.
That's a lot of streams. Is it higher?
No.
Okay.
I was really surprised because for me, Swing Life Away is I think, one of the first songs that broke the UK for you guys.
Yeah, first songs that broke a lot of places.
94 million.
94, okay.
But I'm also thinking, because obviously streaming is a relatively new thing, it's a relatively old album.
Yeah, Swing was out in like 04, so that was like...
So when we used to buy CDs, or I still buy CDs, but when that was the thing, wasn't it?
Right, yeah.
Right, so we've only got 3 more songs to go. We're at 94 million, and we're going on to Prayer of the Refugee, which probably one of your biggest hits over here, especially with Guitar Hero. So are we saying higher or lower than 94 million?
Higher.
Yes.
Okay.
214 million.
Holy crap.
Right, the last two. So we're higher or lower than 214 million for Give It All Away. Higher or lower?
Give it all. Higher or lower than what?
214 million.
Oh, I'm gonna say lower.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to say only, but it's still a ridiculously big number. Only 77 million.
Okay. Yeah.
That's more than the population of the UK. Right. The last one.
Okay.
From 77 million, are we saying higher or lower for Saviour?
Savior's higher.
Yes. Do you want to have a quick guess at maybe how much that is?
So what's the highest number you said so far? Like 200 something?
Yeah, the highest number is 214 million.
Okay, so maybe Savior's like 220 million?
437 million streams for Saviour.
Oh.
That's on a lot of playlists.
I didn't realize that, yeah.
Well, you only got one wrong, so I do think that is successful.
Look at me.
The chocolate.
All right. Won the chocolate. Cool. Thank you, sir.
Right, yeah, so thank you so much for your time. It's an absolute pleasure. Like, I've loved Rise Against since I was like 15. You've been one of those bands that have been like a journey for me. And also kind of got me into heavier music as well. I think like you guys, Linkin Park, it's all those like gateway sort of bands into the heavier scene. So I was like, I can't really thank you enough for that because it's been an absolute pleasure. And then hopefully we'll be hearing some news of a tour potentially some point when things start to maybe look better.
Yeah. You guys are first on our list.
Well, our house, that's fine. That's fine. I'll take that.
Yep.
Yeah, really looking forward to that as well. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you very much, Tim.
Cool, pleasure's mine.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.